In this video, I will give you 5 great tips how to pass the Czech A2 test for permanent residents. These tips are not just originating from me, but also from the students that successfully passed this test. Tip number 1. Prepare well in advance. This seems obvious, but too often I hear things like, I don't know any Czech, I will take the exam next month, who can help me to prepare? I would say this is almost impossible. The test from my perspective is pretty tough, and you should spend at least 50 hours learning Czech before you take it. You will be tested in all skills, reading, listening, writing and speaking, which makes it even more difficult. Fortunately, there is a bunch of free materials from the official site and from YouTube channels, so take advantage of that. I would like to also mention the Patreon of Autentická Čeština with many exercises and whole tests which will help you to prepare. Okay, tip number 2. Apply for the exam as soon as you find a free spot. Maybe you already noticed that applying for the exam these days is pretty much difficult, almost as the exam itself. When you check the official site, you will probably not find a free spot right now. The situation should change in the future because new schools should be available, but right now the situation is what it is. What is advised? Well, be patient and check the official site regularly because new dates are opening progressively. Maybe I would also advise to go the extra mile and write an email to the school which is near you and ask them for the new dates when they will be opened. You can ask like this. Dobrý den. Chtěl bych se zeptat, zda mi můžete sdělit termín, kdy se budou otvírat další časy pro zkoušku z češtiny pro trvalý pobyt. Děkuji mnohokrát. S pozdravem. Your name. Tip number 3. Don't underestimate the speaking part. Why this one? Simple. You have to get at least 60% of points from the written part and 60% from the speaking part. But the written part consists of reading, listening and writing. So you can totally fail, for example, in writing and save it in reading and listening. But when you fail in speaking, nothing will save you. It is good to practice the exercises from the test with a fellow Czech or your teacher. You can find also plenty of speaking exercises on this channel or on Patreon. Well, in speaking part, there are 4 exercises. First, you have to answer general questions about a topic like living or food. Jak vypadá místo, kde bydlíte? V kolik hodin obvykle večeříte? Next, you have to arrange some practical task, for example, in a post office or in a bank. Jste v bance a chcete si založit bankovní účet. This is in the form of dialogue with the supervisor. Next is monologue, where you talk in the past tense for at least a minute. Popište, co dělali kamarádi v pátek večer. Sport, kino, večeře. Finally, there's a conversation with a friend where you should advise where to go or what to do together. You have to pick from 3 pictures like these ones. Okay, tip number 4. Don't hesitate to ask if something is not clear. For example, suppose you don't know the meaning of the phrase krém na opalování. You should ask, dobrý den, co znamená krém na opalování. And they will say, for example, je to krém proti slunci, aby se člověk nespálil. Also ask them to speak more slowly or more loudly in case you don't understand. Můžete mluvit pomaleji, prosím? Můžete mluvit víc nahlas, prosím? Finally, tip number 5. Don't stress out when there is an exercise that you think you failed. As previously said, you have to have at least 60% from the written exercises together. So if you fail in writing, for example, then you can still compensate in listening and reading. So don't panic. Also, if you want to increase dramatically your chances of passing the exam, you can click this button right here. It will take you to the premium community of Autentická Čeština with abundance of preparatory materials for the exam. Uvidíme se příště. Ahoj!